Hello and welcome to Hyper Production with me, Rory. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to properly install VST and AU plugins. I've been getting a lot of questions regarding how to fix certain errors, so I'm going to show you a step-by-step guide how to install them, so stay tuned. Okay, so this is a tutorial on how to install plugins. I get numerous questions basically asking me about how to install various different audio units and different VSTs. So I'm just going to give you this guide to then solve all your problems and overcome any issues that you might be having. So I thought what might be good to start off with is actually download a couple of free plugins and then we'll go through the installation process together. So the best place to get a bunch of free plugins is, in my opinion, pluginboutique.com. They have hundreds of free available downloads of various different processing plugins and synths and other effects like that. If you want to find out where this section is, you go to pluginboutique.com, go on free, and if you click that, you get a drop down menu and it's already sorted into categories for you. So then I've logged into my account, it's free to set up an account, and then I've just added all these to my download section here under free products. So as you can see, we've got OTT, we've got the Tau Chorus, and we've also got an auto filter as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to double check that there's no other versions available, and then I'm simply just going to click download on each one of these. And then for this instance, it's going to take you to the actual manufacturer's website, and then just here, Mac VST audio unit and AAX download. So we click that and our download begins. We can now close that window, and then again, last but not least, auto filter. We're going to click and download there as well. So now that we're fully downloaded, we can shut down Chrome, and then if we head over to our download section, we can then see all our downloads there. So we're going to start off with the free ones at first. We're going to start off with this Tau Chorus installer here. So the difference between .pkg files and .zip files is a .zip is basically, it's compressed the files within that. So all it's going to do when you double click that is then open up the file, and then it's going to reveal what's inside. A .pkg file will actually install the files for you, so i.e. the audio units and the VSTs. So this is probably the most simple way to do it. So we'll double click on that, and then you're welcomed with an installation guide. So then if we click continue and then continue again, just agree the terms and conditions, and then here you can see what you're installing. So the top one is an audio unit, the second one down is a VST, and the third one down is an AAX. So audio unit is basically Mac only, if you like. This is a coding architecture that's developed specifically for the Mac. VST is cross-compatible, so you can use it for Mac and for Windows. Again with AAX, but this is only more or less read by Digidesign software, so i.e. Pro Tools. So you don't necessarily need AAX if you don't have Pro Tools. But it's well worth having VST and audio unit. Say if you've only got Cubase, you're only going to be wanting using VSTs, but if you've got Logic and Ableton, I highly recommend installing both AU and VST. So then we're going to click continue here, and then you're just going to choose where you want to install it. So we want to basically install it on our startup drive, and what I mean by startup drive is the drive that we've got our operating system installed on. So i.e. mine is called the Mac HD. So we're going to install on that, and we're just going to type in our passwords, and then it's going to install it all for us. So then click close, and then we could probably move that to the trash because we no longer need it. We are going to check though that it's installed properly, but I'll install these other two free plugins first, and then we'll get to making sure that everything is in its right place. So next up is the audio filter. Like I mentioned, it's a .zip file, so it's only going to reveal what's inside the folder. It's not an actual script to install it for you. So if you get a bit confused when you're double clicking on the .zip files and nothing's really happening, it's not welcoming you with an installer window, that is perfectly normal. So you can see in the .zip, it's actually revealed a .pkg file, so a package file. So it is going to run the installer for us. So like we did with the chorus, we can then just run the installer, clicking continue, and then install. And like we did previously, just type in your passwords and it will install it all for you. And then again, we can move that one to the trash. So just so that you're aware of what you're actually downloading, on the website of pluginboutique.com, when you download it, just ensure you have this Apple icon clicked here. Before I edited the video, we did accidentally download a .exe file, which is the execution file for Windows. So what you're going to be welcome with when you download the correct one, so the one specifically for Mac, you're going to get a .dmg file. Now this is a mountable disk file for your system. So if we click that there, we're going to notice it's going to open up on the left-hand side here. So when it's checked the volume, so you see it's now installed there, which then reveals the .pkg file. So again, we're going to run that and install this one. Click agree and then install. Type in your passwords. and you are good to go. So we can move that one to the trash as well. Okay, so we've run through all the different package files and the installers. I mean, they're pretty easy to use. You'll be encountered with a situation like I'm going to show you next, where you've downloaded a plugin and you've got all these different file types. So .component, .dpm, .vst, .vst3, and .aax plugin. Now, this first one here, the .aax, is more for Pro Tools, and Avid tend to use that alongside .dpm as well. .component is your audio unit, so that's Mac specific. .vst and .vst3 are a cross compatibility between Mac and Windows. More often than not, .vst and .vst3 are supporting elements to a .component in the Mac world, but in Windows you can run them on their own. So the easiest way to install these, and I'm going to show you where to install them more importantly, is if you just open up another Finder window next to it, then you're going to go to your Mac HD, so your startup disk or whatever you've called it, and then you go to Library, and then we're going to do this AAX plugin first of all because we do have Pro Tools installed on this machine. Then we're going to go to Application Support, Avid, then we're going to go over to Audio, Plugins, and then you'll see all the other .aax plugins there. So simply just drag that, drop it inside that window, and that is that done. Next up, we're going to do the .dpm because it's a similar format, i.e. that Avid use it. So we are then going to go down to Digidesign. This is where the .dpm file extensions go. So Digidesign, plugins, and you see here you've got all your other .dpms here as well, and drop that in there. So you can see the breadcrumb down the bottom here: Macintosh HD, over to Library, Application Support, Digidesign, plugins, and then they are all in there. For the .component, .vst and the .vst3, this is a bit more straightforward. We're going to go to Macintosh HD, Library, going to go to Audio, and then we're going to go to Plugins. So you can see here all the different file extensions. You might see a little bit extra than what you might have, or you might have something slightly different, but you will always have the component folder, the VST folder, and the VST3 folder as well. If you don't, then you need to probably reinstall your DAW so it does produce those files and folders. So we've got the .component here, so put 2 and 2 together. We're going to put it in the components folder there, so you can see the rest of the stuff that we have in here already. So we're just going to drop that in there, and then we're going to click back. We've got our VST next, so then we're going to drop it in VST, find a blank space and drop it in there. But we go to VST3, and then there we go. We are going to drop it in there. So that is the manual way to install plugins. Now you might have a few problems. So if you start up your DAW in Logic or Ableton, chances are it might not be able to find the plugin. And the top reason, which I tell all my viewers and subscribers when they come to me with the problem, is you're probably installing a 32-bit plugin on a 64-bit operating system. So it's just not going to show, it's just not going to work. So one of the great bits of software that I use personally is 32-bit Lives by Sound Radix. Now this is a great plugin. It wraps all of your previous 32-bit plugins in a 64-bit architecture, so that means your DAW will then be able to read it. There are a lot of plugins around at the moment that are already in 64 bits. 9 times out of 10 you probably won't have to worry about this. So then what's going to happen is you're going to start this up and it's automatically going to scan all your plugins, and then what's going to happen is I'll show you sort of a reverse scenario as to what's going to happen. So we'll unwrap that one, type in our password, and then it will unwrap that. So you see on status there it says 32-bit only. So when you open up this bit of software, you simply click on resurrect, and then it's resurrecting the plugin. It will almost install a 64-bit version of that newly created plugin in your proper file bank, and then it will start to work. Then what we're going to do is then go into Logic, and then it'll have a little hunt around for some extra plugins. That's just scanning a few of the audio units there. Then when we started up Logic, we're going to go to New, just create a completely blank session. So yeah, nothing on that audio track. Then we're going to go to Logic Pro 10, down to Preferences, and then down to Plugin Manager. Your one might be worded slightly different. It might be Audio Unit Manager, but for me, it's Plugin Manager. Then you want to double check the plugins that you've installed. So they'll typically be by manufacturer down the bottom here. So we know we introduced and installed a TAL plugin there. So there's our Chorus plugin, and it's successfully validated. So that means it's going to work. Then another one that we installed was the Sound FX So Sonimus, the Son EQ, that's it. So that's the EQ that we've just basically installed manually. So we know that that one's working as well. So let's go down and find these and we'll fire them up just to double check that they are all working. The Son EQ, have a look in mono, and there we have it. Our plugin is working perfectly. So if you're finding a plugin that isn't available, chances are, another little tip is that you've got your channel in mono and it might just be a stereo only plugin. So what you might notice there is that the Tau Chorus plugin is not showing because we currently have a mono channel, and obviously a chorus is a stereo enhancing effect. So then if we click that into a stereo field and then click on audio effects, go on audio units, then we will notice that our chorus plugin is now available. So there we have our Tau Chorus effect. That is a little bit of a tricky one and a bit of a difficult one to figure out. You're probably trying to think about a problem with the plugin a bit too in depth. But sometimes all it is that you've got your channel in mono instead of stereo. So I hope I've answered a few questions there on how to install plugins. There are a whole host of problems that can occur when installing plugins. If you've got any problems, then please drop them in the comments section below and I will be more than happy to try and help you. If you want to go the fast route, then send us a screenshot of your error to info@hyperproduction.com and I will be more than happy to try and help you further that way as well. If you've learned anything from this video, please give us a thumbs up and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Rory, thank you very much for watching.